Hi, in this video we are going to understand how to recognize agile scenario in the given PMP questions. As we know that since Jan 2021, since PMI has introduced new format of PMP exam, they have made 50% of the PMP exams to be based on agile and hybrid approaches. And many aspirants, many PMP aspirants are finding it difficult to recognize the agile scenarios in the given PMP exam questions. So we are going to discuss few of the sample questions and we will understand how to recognize agile scenario in the given exam question. So before we get started with those sample questions, my name is Anita Myana. I am from Certifyera. I am the founder and trainer at Certifyera Consulting. I conduct different PMP trainings, CAPM, Agile practitioner trainings and different other certification specific trainings in Agile and Scrum and other customized trainings for the corporates both online and offline. So now let us get started with the session. Let us start with question number 1. So question number 1, the self-managing team has been working to understand the features to be built and delivered to the customer. So in this question, the term self-managing team, this is the term that is related to agile approach, because in agile we try to form a self-organizing team to be working on developing the incremental, maybe the product in incremental manner and deliver the product as multiple increments or in the form of multiple releases. So this is one of the term which helps us to understand that this is agile scenario. The next statement says the agile project manager is helping the team to remove the impediments. So there would be a team facilitator or scrum master or agile project manager who is going to remove the impediments and who will enable the team to perform. So this term also helps us to understand that it is agile scenario. And here they are asking us to find out how do they deliver value to customer. So it is clear that this is agile scenario. So in agile projects, we deliver value to the customer in the form of multiple deliveries or multiple releases throughout the project life cycle by ensuring that we are delivering more and more value in the early stages of the project life cycle. So let us look at the options. Option number 1, build all the features and deliver at the end of the project. Build all the features and deliver at the end of the project is the characteristic of traditional project life cycle and not the agile. Because in traditional project life cycle, throughout the project life cycle, we develop the product and at the end of the project, we deliver the product in one single delivery. So this is not true. Work to build and deliver as soon as possible, even if they are half built. We work on building different set of user stories in agile projects, but we don't deliver the half-built or incomplete user stories to the customer. So this is also not true. Next, work to build and deliver value to customer at the end of the program to mark completion of a release milestone. Releasing the product to the customer, it is planned as part of the project life cycle, and so as to mark the milestone completion of some program, it has no relevancy with delivering the value as part of a project. So try to understand that as part of an agile project, we try to deliver value throughout the project life cycle and we try to prioritize the requirements and we try to deliver high value requirements early in the project life cycle. But the program milestones, they will be different from the project milestones. So as to deliver value, so let us try to understand the fourth option, build and deliver features incrementally by prioritizing based on value. So this seems to be the perfect option because the team is trying to develop the product incrementally and by prioritizing based on the value, and they will try to deliver more and more value to the customer in the early stages. So this is the perfect answer. So let us check the answer. So this is right, and you may also read through the explanation. So in agile projects, the primary objective is to prioritize the features, and based on the value, we will try to prioritize and we will keep on releasing the product to the customer in the form of multiple releases. And in traditional projects, We try to deliver the product at the end of the project life cycle in one single delivery. And we never release half-built or incomplete user stories. So try to read all the options and try to choose the best option or the right answer. So first try to understand whether the given scenario is agile scenario or not. Now let us look at the next question, question number 2. While the team was working on an innovative product from pharmaceutical organization, the stakeholders kept on sharing more and more change requests in last several sprints. So last several sprints, this indicates that they are carrying out the project in agile manner. They are carrying out the development in sprint manner, and they have got lot of change requests from the customer in the last several sprints, and this has added to the product backlog. This product backlog is also the term that is used in agile projects. So by looking at this term also, you will be able to recognize that it is agile project scenario. While decision makers are not ready to extend the timelines and asking the team to deliver everything within the committed timelines, what should the team do? So basically there was some scope that was shared at the initial stage. There were some set of requirements shared, and throughout the maybe few of the sprints, several sprints that were carried out, in those sprints they kept on introducing more and more change requests. But they are not ready to extend the timelines and maybe different other parameters also. So how should the team plan to deliver the product to the customer? So let us try to understand what should be the best approach in this scenario. The first option says the team should ask to terminate the project as it is not achievable in the given time constraint. This is not practical. We cannot ask the stakeholders to terminate the project if it is not deliverable. We should try to find out a way to develop and deliver the product. Next, the team should continue to insist for extending the timelines. The stakeholders or the customer have already made it clear that they are not going to extend the timelines. They might also have some constraints and pressure from the delivery perspective, from the management side. So that might not be possible. Option 3, the team should make the stakeholders understand the importance of prioritization and look to get high value items first. This seems to be better. But let us park it and let us also read the next option as a best practice while you attempt the PMP specific exam questions. The next option is the team should promise the decision makers that if time permits, they will deliver all features in the time available. This can be a promise that you can make to the customer, but the best approach is to first prioritize based on the value of the items or the user stories and try to deliver the high value items first. Even if time is not left for the last few of the items which are less important, which are least important, even if you don't deliver them to the customer, that might not affect the business of the customer substantially. So this would be the best approach to be followed. So this is how we should try to make a decision in the given scenario. So let us try to look at the next question, question number 3. Let us look at the answer. So the right answer is option 3, option C, that is good. So now let us look at the next question, question number 3. You are leading the newly formed project team working on a complex product development. The team has started working in agile manner and implementing several agile practices to deliver value to the customer early and continuously. So it is already given that the team is working in agile manner. They are working on complex product. They are developing a complex product and they are trying to carry out the development in agile manner, and they are trying to deliver product to the customer early and continuously. That means in increments, by developing the product iteratively. So which of the following is not an agile core practice? So there are some practices given in the options. The first option is retrospective at the end of each sprint to review lessons learned. This is one of the Agile core practice. We try to carry out a retrospective meeting to understand what went well, what went wrong, and what can be improved. So retrospective is one of the Agile core practice. Demonstrating the product at the end of each sprint with the customer to share the increment and to get the feedback, to receive the recommendations from the customer or change requests from the customer. This is one of the Agile core practice, so as to collaborate with the customer and try to get more understanding about the product. So this is also a core practice. The next option, project manager creating the task list and assigning the work to the team as part of daily stand-up meeting. Understand that daily stand-up meeting is one of the core practice in Agile projects, but the project manager or the team facilitator is not going to assign any work to the team. The team should behave as a self-managing or self-organizing team. So here it is said that project manager creating the task list and assigning the work to the team. So this seems to be the false statement. This is not an Agile core practice, but this is a practice that is followed in traditional projects or waterfall projects. So the next option is sprint planning at the start of each iteration. This is also one of the collaborative event that we conduct so as to plan each of the sprint. So for this question, the right answer is option C. This is not an Agile core practice. So this is how we are going to select the right option. Let us check the answer for question number 3. Yes, it is right. Option 3 is right, because this is not an Agile practice, but this is one of the traditional project practice. Now let us look at question number 4. The team is planning the sprint and selecting the user stories from the product backlog. So here the term sprint, user stories, product backlog. So these all terms will help us to understand that this is Agile project scenario. So what are they doing? They are trying to create a sprint backlog. Sprint backlog is also one of the Agile term, and they are trying to define the sprint goal. This is another Agile term. So the team is not sure on which user stories to select. Who can help in this event? So the team is conducting sprint planning meeting. They are trying to define the sprint goal. They are trying to create the sprint backlog, and they are trying to define some goal for the current sprint by selecting some requirements or user stories, but they are not sure which user stories to select. So who should help them? The first option says Scrum Master should guide the team by prioritizing the user stories. This is not right. The responsibilities of a Scrum Master is to remove the impediments, enable the team to perform, coach the team on Agile and Scrum practices, and ensure that everybody follows the framework and the process and the practices. So this is not right. Next option, product owner should guide the team by prioritizing the user stories. This seems to be right, because product owner is a business guy. He has the business knowledge, he is business savvy, he understands the product, and he is the right role to prioritize the requirements and guide the team on which user stories to be selected for the current sprint. So this should be the correct option. But as a best practice, also read option C and option D. So let us read option C. The developers should prioritize the user stories themselves based on whichever user stories they think are doable at the moment. So this is not the deciding factor to prioritize the user stories, and developers are not the right role to prioritize the user stories. So this is not correct from process perspective. The next option says the project sponsor should prioritize the user stories as he is providing finance. Because he is giving financial support to the project, that doesn't mean he is going to prioritize the user stories, but it has to be decided from the business side which user stories are of high value for the business, which are going to deliver maximum business value. So that is how we are going to prioritize, and the right role to guide the team is product owner. So the right option should be B. Product owner should guide the team by prioritizing the user stories. So let us check the answer. Yes, this is right. Option 2 is right, as we already discussed in detail. Let us look at the next question, question number 5. The project stakeholders are tailoring the project to decide the development approach and the project life cycle for the project. So their discussions are heading towards choosing the incremental approach. Which of the following characteristics define incremental approach? So try to understand that there are a set of stakeholders who are trying to tailor the project and they are deciding the development approach, and they thought that incremental approach would be best for the current project scenario. So out of these given options, which of these options define the characteristics of incremental approach? So one of the options says that baselining the requirements and working to develop the product. Baselining the requirements, it happens in traditional project life cycle in waterfall project and not in incremental approach or agile or iterative approach. So this is not correct. The next option is frequent delivery of smaller increments, dynamic requirements and preferred once for a given increment. So performed once for a given increment. That means we are trying to frequently deliver the product to the customer. We are trying to work on a small set of increment or a small set of requirements at a given point of time, and we are trying to plan to release that increment, and frequently we are delivering some value to the customer. So this seems to be correct from incremental approach perspective, but let us park this and let us try to also read the rest of the options as a best practice. The third option is frequent changing requirements repeated until correct, making one single release at the end. Frequent changing requirements and repeated until correct, these kind of practices are relevant to iterative approach, in which we try to deliver the product in one single release, one single delivery at the end of the project. So these are the characteristics of iterative approach. So this is not correct with respect to incremental approach. The next option says working with fixed scope to develop the product and deliver at the end of the project. Again, here they are talking from waterfall perspective, wherein we try to fix the scope at the start of the project and we try to develop the product and deliver the product at the end of the project. So this is also not the characteristic of incremental approach, but this is the characteristic of, again, traditional approach. So the right option should be option B. So let us check the answer. So this is right. So you may go through some of the guides that are recommended from PMP exam preparation perspective, as Agile Practice Guide is one of the guides which has to be read at least once if you are preparing for PMP exam, and if you want to clear your concepts related to Agile and hybrid approaches. And you should also be able to understand the nuances and the differences between iterative, incremental and agile approaches. So here in this scenario, the option B indicates, or these are the characteristics of incremental approach but not iterative approach. And option C, these are the characteristics of iterative approach. So try to go through the relevant content to understand and clear these concepts, or you may go and explore my PMP certification exam prep course in the link given below in the description in this video, or you may also try to practice with more sample PMP practice tests by following another link that is provided below this video. So these all resources are going to really help you well prepare for the exam and take the exam and pass the exam confidently.